Hey everybody, this is Mr. Brooks, and this video is for financial math, and this is over Learn from Your First Job assignment. The learning target is explain why first jobs are different than other jobs and careers, and I want you to take away um, some of the frustrations or some of the lessons that people should learn, or hopefully learn, have the opportunity to learn from their first jobs. So if you go to our notes section, there was a warm up where we did other people's first jobs, so people shared what they did. And as you can expect, a lot of people worked in fast food. This was nice. The student did babysitting, dog sitting, and that is a first job. Like, I mean, anything you're paid to do. And so people talked about their lesson, learn patience with toddlers. So yeah, I mean, working with toddlers is a great way to learn patience. Show up on time and do your best no matter what was my example. I was my first job was a referee, and I got the opportunity to well, I'll tell you that I was playing basketball in a league in high school. I was 17, and then along with that, I would stay after and work the scoreboard because it was a nonprofit league. So I got service hours for helping out, and I enjoyed being with my friends. So the referees hang out at the scores table, and I asked them. I said, "Hey, how much you get paid for this? Hey, how did you get started in this? What's it like?" And he told me the pay, and it was really good pay. And he said, "Yeah, you just talk to these people, and then you go here." And I made contact with the league director, and I said, "Hey, I'm interested in doing this. What can you do for me? Do you have any advice?" And he set me up with helping referee the really 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 little kids, like the 6-year-olds, and that's how I started when I was in high school. I had a couple mentors help me along the way, and pretty soon I was moving up and doing high school. I went to some college camps. I got into volleyball officiating, and now I officiate college volleyball. Also do some softball on the side too, and it's just something I really enjoyed. It was a very good first job experience. But I learned, you show up on time. I learned it's about communication. It's not about. I mean, that's really all it is. Is that you have to communicate to get jobs. You have to communicate at the job, and then I always I try to do my best because I liked what I did, and I wanted to be better than other people. My first real job was at Barnes and Noble, and that was I say real job because refereeing never seemed like a real job, but I was making like $6 an hour or something, and it was fun. I learned a lot from that too. This student worked at Arby's, talked about teamwork. Not every person you meet is going to be nice, so she talked about dealing with those frustrations. Be patient with people you work with. Um, it's better to be compliant with difficult customers and coworkers than to try to convince them they're wrong, even if they're so obviously wrong. We put this in a context as picking your battles because sometimes you're going to pick battles where you're going to want them to see that you're right, and sometimes it's easier just to let it go, and you don't have to be right all the time in order to get through the day, in order to try to appease everybody else, just so your life isn't so unhappy. And then we talked about rude customers and trying to be nice, and this person talked about trying to go above and beyond. If somebody came to her that was in a bad mood, she would be extra nice to them to see if she can make their day a little bit better. Maybe they can make their day a little bit better. So there was some reading. Sorry, I'm going back to this. Trying to think about where I go from here. Here's the article. I did piece it off online because I didn't want you to go to some article, some link that it might be dead, so I wanted to keep it around forever. And also, there were a lot of ads, and I just didn't want you to struggle through it if you were on mobile or something where the ads were overwhelming. But sticking to deadlines, deadlines are very important, and you might, at a fast food place, you might get like the order has to be in by this time, or you've got to turn in this paperwork by this time, or whatever. really important. Home work home balance. I don't know if that's a first job, but if you work a whole bunch, you lose that free time sense. And I've learned that you've got to find a way to keep work at work and keep your home home and separate them. Um, some of my first jobs, I would work over 40 hours a week, and I would try to do such a good job that everybody had to notice me. I would do such a good job, or work so hard that people would try to reward me. And finally, I think I got to the point a couple of years ago where even though I had more stuff to do, like yesterday, for example, I had people I wanted to call, and this is at here at BBLA. I had parents I needed to call, kids I had to call. I had some grading I needed done. I had some planning, just to get some notes together better, and then I have a list of other things I'm trying to do also. But 2:15 came around, and I said, it's time to go home. It'll be here, and if it's not perfect, it's not perfect. But I don't live to work. I don't. You gotta have that balance in your life. There's more important things, and along with a job, and we tend to focus on jobs in the United States, but you should have a hobby that makes you feel alive, and you might have a family life, or maybe you have your home life. Um, the next one was hard work. I do think that you should definitely try to work as hard as you can at your first job, just to get noticed. Like my daughter was telling me, she works at she worked at Jimmy John's, and she said, they're only paying me this much. It's not very much. What do I do? And I said, well, you do your best, and you try to stand out, and then people will notice. But I do think that not that you shouldn't work hard, but I do think that you should consider, what you're trying to get out of it. If you, for example, think about a person who lives, maybe in a small little town in the middle of nowhere, and you work for a mom and pop shop, and the mom and pop shop, doesn't really get any people coming in, and nobody leaves. Maybe like the mom and pop have been there forever. You know, you might work really hard, but nobody might notice your work there. And think about that compared to somebody who maybe works at maybe like a law office in Cincinnati. Maybe they get a first job filing paperwork and getting coffees and just proofreading text or something like that. Um, or maybe they work at a bigger chain. Like there's a big chain restaurant and they work there. People go in there and they notice. Clients or other bosses network. And part of getting a first job is you need to meet people, and people need to see what skills you have. More than the resume that you have, it's who you know. And a lot of my jobs have come from people I know, and that they'd leave their work, or somebody would leave their work, and they'd call me up and they'd say, hey, I got this opportunity, or hey, I really need some help, would you come over here? And that's really prevalent with that networking. And I think so. I do think it's important to consider, like, geography is important. Who you work with is important more than just hard work. You definitely need some luck if you're looking to move up the ladder. Don't burn bridges. You might hate your boss. You might hate some of your employees, your coworkers. Um, Before you go in there and just say, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, you should really try to stay as tactful as possible. To give you an example, my wife, her first big job, her first full-time job was at a coal mining consulting firm, and she did marketing. So she was the only girl there, pretty much, and everybody else was a good old boy, old dude. And she had this boss she really didn't like. She called him Jabba the Hutt. If you know Star Wars, Jabba the Hutt's the big, ugly snake guy. Basically, he's the ugliest guy in the room. He's the meanest guy in the room. He's just, disgusting. And she's like, I can't stand working with this guy, Jabba the Hutt, I can't stand him. But she toughed it out. She stuck with it, just waiting, biding her time. And then it came out where he ended up starting a new company, and she was brought in with that company. It was in the same office, but she was like the person with the free time to do it, and she got into selling bonds, and it turned out to be like this wonderful experience where she was the only one selling environmental bonds in the state of Kentucky. And then somebody else knew him and came along and needed someone that did bonding, and so she got that job. And because she didn't burn those bridges, it kept a pathway open for her to move up and then move over. So don't burn your bridges. When you hate people, try to take the high road. If it's a terrible situation, if it's unhealthy or if it's toxic, it doesn't mean you have to tough it out forever. But when you leave, if at all you can help it, try not to burn those bridges. Carry on with the job. Jobs are like monotonous sometimes. You might have a job making 300 drinks a day, and after making 30 drinks, you're exhausted. That's the nature of some of this work. And when you get that first job, like that might be the only skill that you have, or that might be the only thing available to you. But if you want a job that's not monotonous and just day to day the same thing, then that's what you got to learn. And then you got to get your human capital up and your value up, your education level up, so that you can do other stuff. Okay. There's another one I think that was really important. Do more than assigned. I definitely think if you're able to go above and beyond, that really shows that initiative, and that's how you get noticed. If you just do your job, then you're just that good worker. And if you can have the opportunity to go above and beyond, then great things will happen. Like my daughter took a job at a concession stand for volleyball. It was at a little sports venue, and she made it a point to remember everybody's name. She didn't have to remember everybody's name, but she would learn names, and she ended up getting more tips than everybody because she got the money. But the boss was like, "Hey, you're calling everybody by their name when they come up to order," and she's like, "Yeah," and that really stood out. So if you get the opportunity to go above and beyond, do it. And right now, she is doing very well in customer service. So that's just it's just more than the people that do less. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes all the time. You will be your own worst enemy. You will probably notice your mistakes more than anybody else. If you mess up a sandwich working at Subway, you're gonna that you might, don't let that eat at you. Okay, I'm a referee, and believe me, I make lots of mistakes, and my mistakes affect other people. It's still just a game. It's not the end of the world. But at the college level, coaches jobs are on the line. But don't be afraid to make mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes. That's how you learn. And don't be your worst enemy. Hopefully your coworkers are understanding and forgiving. Most of the time they are, because they make mistakes too. Everybody's been there. Everybody's been there. Everybody's in the same boat. Learning from monotony, we talked about that. Sometimes you just gotta do it again and again. And then attitude is so important. Have a good attitude with what you do. If you're gonna trade your time for money, then you might as well enjoy it. And that is like some of these first jobs. You really are trading your time for money. That's just what it is. Okay. All right. So that's the reading, and then you're just going to answer the questions right there. And there's some audio. If you click on these links, this is some audio that I thought was really, really good. It goes along with the assignment where you're listening to people reminisce about their first jobs. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.